This is a special Veterans Day presentation of KTAB for You, Veterans Voices, honoring those who served by telling you their stories. Brought to you by these fine sponsors.
Well, good afternoon, and thank you for joining us for this special edition of KTAB for You, Veterans Voices. I'm Victoria Roach. Today we honor our local veterans and hear how they play a part in our community. We begin this afternoon learning about National Wreaths Across America Day and how you can help honor those who served, remember the fallen, and teach the next generation the value of freedom. Here to tell us more is Lieutenant Colonel Dave Cardwell and Roxanne Klump. How are you doing today?
Oh, we're great.
We're
glad
thanks.
to be here.
I'm so glad that you are here. Thank you for being here for this special. So tell me a little bit about National Wreaths Across America Day, the event happening at the Texas State Veterans Cemetery here in Abilene.
Okay, well, the event started about 10 years ago, and we've been doing this for 8 years ago, where we've had Wreaths Across America come, and we've raised enough funds to have a wreath placed at every headstone at our cemetery. So we're excited about it happening again this year.
And the event this year, you guys have a bunch of organizations here locally coming out for National Wreaths Across America Day. Can you give me a preview of some of the organizations coming out?
Well, we have Abilene High and Cooper High junior ROTCs that are going to come out and help with the color guard and laying the wreaths on the actual memorials for the services. And then we have the Experimental Aircraft Association going to be doing the flyover during the national anthem, and that's about like a guest speaker from Dias too.
That's incredible. And how do you get the funds to lay these wreaths on all of these headstones? Do people sponsor them, donations? How do you make this possible?
Yes, well, we have, of course, families. That's where our major donations come from, because they're interested in having a wreath for their loved one's headstone. But we also have businesses in town, the foundations, a Blue Cross and Blue Shield, you know, and some of the car dealerships. And one of my favorites is a wind farm that's in Merkel, and these guys have donated every year a really good donation, but a lot of veterans work there, so they're very supportive of what we're doing.
It's a pretty financially, hard to get each year, and it's getting worse each year because we have 2,800 wreaths this year that we need to put one on each individual grave. And the cemetery buries about a little over 300 people every year, so next year we're well over 3,000. So there's a total of 44,000 graves at that cemetery alone. So you can see in the future it's just going to become more and more hard. It's harder to get the money and the funding. So the donations by the family members and businesses is exactly what keeps us going.
And anyone can donate or sponsor a wreath, right?
Yes. You're going to have I think there's a flyer that's going to come up, and it'll show that if you put a TX0205 and a TXSV, it'll say you're going to donate that wreath or those wreaths to the Texas Veterans Cemetery. And if you put the TX0205, and it's all on the flyer itself, but if you put that on there, for every 2 wreaths we get 1 wreath for free, and that's where we really make our money, and they do partial wreaths. So if you give $50, that's 2.5 wreaths or 3.5 wreaths you'll get. So it really works out well, using that bonus wreath.
And it is an incredible thing that you were doing, Roxanne?
Well, yes, and I have a special interest, and that was why I started doing this, was because my husband is buried there, and a lot of friends. So it was just a good. I just wanted, and then I found out too. I think the most significant reason was there are a lot of veterans that are buried there that don't have any loved ones at all. Right. And over the past few years we've had those unaccompanied burials. So it's important that they're all remembered. And so this is an opportunity, and I think people step up. If they know about it, that's the thing that we struggle with, is that people need to be informed that it's happening. And it's beautiful when it's finished and all the wreaths are placed. It's really quite a sight, and it's really a very worthy tribute to our veterans, especially this time of year, because I think Christmas, you're thinking about that and families, and so it's meaningful, very meaningful.
Well, it's a shout out to KTAB and KRBC for putting the public service announcements on there, and that really gets the word out for us. Y'all start doing that, I think, the beginning of October, and it's really worked out well. People are seeing it. So it's starting to kick in. We're starting to see some more donations, and we're very close to meeting the 2,800 wreaths this year.
Yes, we are. And if you would like to help sponsor a wreath at the Texas State Veterans Cemetery in Abilene, National Wreaths Across America Day will be Saturday, December 16th at 11 a.m. We'll have details on how you can give on our website, bigcountryhomepage.com. And still to come on Veterans Voices, we meet local World War II veterans being given the proper honors coming up next.
This is a special presentation of KTAB for you, Veterans Voices.
It wasn't bad. Part of it was good. I did a lot of things. And bailing out of a plane and surviving and
Well, it takes a lot to be a hoss, and this World War II veteran definitely has earned the title. With a century of stories to tell, 100-year-old Roy Hoss Allen joined the Army Air Corps in 1941 at just 18. He trained to be a nose gunner for the B-24 Liberator bomber, also known as the Flying Rock. Flying the war in Europe, the Colorado City native saw battles in Romania, Italy, and Germany, and was over German soil where he and the rest of the crew had to parachute into enemy territory after their plane took fire and was plummeting to the earth. Allen surviving as a German prisoner of war for 11 months and 16 days. This year, he was the guest of honor for a Veterans Day luncheon at the Wesley Court Senior Living Center. And the milestones of history can tell us a lot about people and events that shape the world, but sometimes those stones don't contain the full story. KTAB's Noah McKinney spoke to a man who's hoping to right that wrong by honoring his great-grandfather, a local World War II veteran who was laid to rest 23 years ago without any indication of his service to the country.
For Michael Arbuckle, there is no man quite like his great-grandfather, Private First Class Charlie McWright.
I can remember sitting in the lap of a man that fought the Nazis. I mean, I can't say it enough. That was like a superhero on two legs.
And although he passed away 23 years ago, his impact has never lessened in Arbuckle's life.
We all called him Papa Charlie, and I mean, the man was larger than life.
So you can imagine his surprise when he found something of Papa Charlie's when cleaning out his garage.
I pick up a box, and I'm like, this box is heavy. And sure enough, that's my great-grandfather's headstone, and I'm like, why do I have my great-grandfather's headstone?
McWright was buried at Elmwood Memorial Park in 2000, but that 60-pound bronze headstone never made it there, staying in the family for 2 decades and leaving no sign of his military career. In fact, Papa Charlie's ceremony was completely devoid of military honors of any kind, but no one alive today knows why. Given that he had an honorable discharge, this didn't sit right with Arbuckle.
He went to France, fought, and was able to be lucky enough to come home. It's a kick in the pants when it's Memorial Day and he doesn't get a wreath or a flag because nobody knows.
Which is why he's begun raising money to have that bronze marker encased in granite, working with Elmwood to get it placed at its proper home.
We're going to get there, and I'm not going to let it go until those are at the feet of my great-grandfather.
Arbuckle taking it a step further, planning a full dedication, 21-gun salute and all, with friends and McWright's now 4 generations of grandchildren in attendance.
But I also knew the man. He didn't like to have anybody fussing over him. In one hand, he'd probably be really ecstatic. In the other hand, he'd be like, Michael, why are you causing such fuss?
But like it or not, a fuss will be made and tears will be shed.
And now it will be tears of not sadness, but of joy. It would mean so much to me, my family, and so much to Charlie as well, that people still remember what he fought for.
For BigCountryHomepage.com, I'm Noah McKinney.
Thank you, Noah. And a happy update to that story. Since it aired on Monday, Mr. Arbuckle reaching out to us to inform us that Elmwood Memorial Park will be waiving all fees and will ship and install the headstone for free. And better yet, he says a Representative Jody Arrington's office has offered to pull McWright's military records so the family can know more about their dear departed Papa Charlie. KTAB will be there when the dedication ceremony is held sometime this spring. And we try to take good care of our military veterans, and there is a variety of programs to help across the big country. One may seem a little off the beaten path, but for some combat veterans, it turns out silence is golden. To deal with post-traumatic stress that often goes with protecting our country, Manny Diaz sets his sights to show us how archery has been helping military combat veterans.
Call it a foam-friendly event.
Everybody hit foam.
Well, kind of, but perhaps with a breath of fresh air.
Just being in nature is kind of an awesome feeling when you can just embrace it.
The great outdoors paired with an eye for the target.
Archery just kind of puts that all together.
October marked the 3rd annual Foam is Our Friend archery match for Abilene area veterans. A nice break from reality mixed with some friendly competition.
All the branches of the service are out here, so we're always competing no matter what.
We ask you to bless this time, safety, and fun.
Plus,
doesn't matter what year you served, what era, what conflict or war, you can still make connections with each other.
Aside from the competition, archery has given these military vets another shot at coping with PTSD following their time while serving our country.
The VA clinic has given me a different platform to help settle all the noise in my head.
Everything disappears in life. You're just in the moment right then and there. And so for me, the hands-on archery, being able to be out here, that's basically what it is for me.
For U.S. Army veteran Daniel Weingart, he battles with PTSD due to his experiences while on deployment overseas. Sudden noises and gunfire remind him of that time. Having gone through many types of treatment, Weingart explains how using a compound bow versus a firearm is beneficial for him.
The only loud thing you might hear is when that arrow hits the target. Other than that, I mean, it's quiet, so you don't have to worry about that stress and anxiety of rounds or anything like that going off.
For Marine vet Manny Rios, who recently retired after almost 24 years of service, says it's this archery program that's given him a new lease on life.
There's no telling where I would be, and they've opened up the door and they made it possible for someone like me that didn't like talking to people, didn't like opening up. I'm not so angry, I'm not irritated as much, I'm not, I guess, about to lose it on in certain situations.
All right. Reporting from the Abilene Bowhunters Association range.
All right.
For coverage you can count on, I'm Manny Diaz, KTAB News.
Thank you, Manny. The Abilene Vet Center has a number of other groups ranging from women of military to life skill groups, PTSD groups. For more information, see the KTAB website, bigcountryhomepage.com. Well, still to come on Veterans Voices.
Women have, no offense, we have much better attention to detail. So we are great welders.
How one woman veteran is starting in a new male-dominated career.
This is a special presentation of KTAB for you, Veterans Voices.
Well, more women in the big country are starting to enter the welding school field, and one Dias Air Force veteran is doing just that. Take a look.
For years, the welding classroom at TSTC was filled with students that all had one thing in common. They were all men. But now, that trend is changing because of students like Alicia Stepp.
Graduate next August, I'll get a Cert 1 in welding.
She's going against the grain in her career, but according to Stepp, this isn't the first time she's decided to step into a male-dominated field.
I did 6 years active duty in the Air Force. I was stationed here, Dias Air Force Base in Abilene.
Her interest in entering into a trade grew, and now this is what she does nearly every day.
Both throughout my military career and pretty much everything that I've done, I've been one of the only women.
But this year in her welding class, there are 2 women. And according to instructor Eric Barnes, that number was 0 just a few years ago.
People are now understanding that, it's not just a men's game. Women can come in and do it as well.
He believes this interest is starting at high school with more CTE and ag mechanic programs.
One of the best TIG welders I ever met was a female.
Barnes says he encourages it because he says females pay great attention to detail.
It comes down to the littlest things. Women paint their nails. That fine detail, men, it's kind of hard to do.
Stepp says with her experience in the military and now welding, she's paving the way for others to feel like they can do it too.
I think a lot of people try to scare women out of more masculine career fields like this, and there's not really a reason for it.
In Abilene, with coverage you can count on, Annabelle Tuggle, KTAB News.
Thank you, Annabelle. Right now, 8 women are enrolled in welding classes at TSTC. Well, for Abilene's own Teresa Klickner, she not only served our country, but has found a way to give back. As part of Next Star's Remarkable Women contest this year, you, the viewers, submitted nominations of women who have made an impact, and we narrowed it down to 4 finalists before choosing a local winner. The 26-year Army veteran was named the Abilene finalist, having served in the Middle East and dedicating her career to saving the lives of American troops, POWs, and Afghan civilians. Following the departure of the United States military from Afghanistan in 2021, Klickner felt compelled to help the Afghan people. She assisted 3 families transition to American life. Her story, produced by Manny Diaz, earned a Lone Star Emmy nomination in the military category. Tomorrow night in Houston, the winners of this year's Lone Star Emmy Awards will be announced. And still to come on our special Veterans Voices, a look at new veteran-owned businesses here in the Big Country.
This is a special presentation of KTAB for you, Veterans Voices.
Moving from life on base to life as a civilian can be a challenge. 2 Dias Air Force veterans have chosen to make Abilene their home. KTAB's Ashley Ibarra tells us about their journey from base to business.
Ooh, I was in the military for 32 and a half years. My family and I got here in 2017, and I was a squadron commander in the 317th here at Dias, and knew that we were going to retire here.
Pete Leja's experience in the military included deployments to some of the most dangerous and challenging places in the world.
Spent about 6 months in Baghdad. Spent a year in Afghanistan.
But it was in Abilene where he found a sense of community and belonging.
We grew to love Abilene. Abilene is phenomenal. It has everything that every big city has, just in smaller size and quantity, and that's it.
Upon retirement, joining forces with Glenn Pugh, who comes from a strong military background.
My grandfather that raised me was in World War I. He inspired me a lot. And then my uncle retired from the Army in 1973.
Serving in the Air Force for 30 years.
And I fixed the weapon system on aircraft, so started out on A-10s, F-16s, and then ended with the B-1.
Together, using their military backgrounds to help them open a business.
Because we were both also instructors in the military, it was a really easy transition from a lot of the things that we did while we were in the military to what we're doing now.
Their journey doesn't stop at just running a business. Leja says living in Abilene makes it easy to connect with other veteran-owned businesses.
I make sure I like to talk to them and let them know, hey, there's a community out here that is there for us.
Hoping their business can give back to the Abilene economy.
Hey, we can bring this back to Abilene, and we can keep the money in Abilene. And people in Abilene who want to do security don't have to go to Dallas.
Sharing they're still serving their country, but in a different way. In Abilene, with coverage you can count on, Ashley Ibarra, KTAB News.
They say what they love most about Abilene is the large military support, hoping to inspire and learn from other veteran-owned businesses. And still to come on Veterans Voices, an Abilene private school pays tribute to our veterans.
This is a special presentation of KTAB for you, Veterans Voices.
And although the official celebration of Veterans Day isn't until tomorrow, that didn't stop St. John's Episcopal School from paying tribute to our local veterans today. This morning, the students gathered in the chapel to perform a number of songs to honor those who have served our country. They also welcomed Dias Air Force Base Lieutenant Colonel Christian Jenkins from the 28th Bomb Squadron. Lieutenant Jenkins shared what Veterans Day means to her and her family. All in all, it's an annual celebration that continues to honor our armed forces. Well, thank you for tuning in to this special edition of KTAB for you, Veterans Voices. You can find more stories like the one shown today on our website, bigcountryhomepage.com. As we leave you, here are the sights and sounds from the Veterans Day Parade. We thank all of our veterans for their service. God bless and have a good afternoon.
I'm grateful that all these people here in Abilene support the veterans, and for the big turnout that we had today. And it was a nice parade. It had a lot of good memories, a lot of old friends that you see drive by. You know.
We put on today's parade. We love doing this for veterans, but we are so glad to sit here and let all our other veterans know that they are appreciated what they do.
34 is Clinton Abernathy in a 1967 Mustang. U.S. Army veteran.
My name is Richard Olguin. I served in the United States Air Force for 20 years.
Hello, my name is Victor Bruns. I'm with the Taylor County Veterans Office. I'm one of 4 service officers in the county. We did do this on the 4th of November, which is not, or rather not close to Veterans Day, but that was because we wanted DICE to participate, and they couldn't do that on the 11th. So we had all the DICE personnel that could come out. We got children out here. There were other veterans out here.
They don't realize what it means to the veterans, but to see them, you know, their appreciation for it, you know.
It's a really nice, warm spot to come out and see what Abilene can do for their veterans. special place in my heart for veterans because, I mean, I did 21 years. I have received appreciation in my time. A lot of our Vietnam veterans and other veterans that have went over to Afghanistan and other places, they don't get the attention that I did when I got out. So I greatly want to pass that on to those veterans that we do greatly appreciate their sacrifice.
Oh, it's very honored to be around, especially like Abilene. Abilene's got a good community. You know, the base is there, and they support the base. They support the veterans. They do everything for the veterans. You know, everybody else, you know, they appreciate the veterans here in Abilene.